Hello, hello. Everybody's tired. Let's get up. I usually do 4-hour classes. I'll keep you awake. Anybody in education from Clemson here? That's when you go, woo, go Tigers. Boston public schools, right? Any Pepperdine alumni? Yes. Yes. Well, I'm going to talk about what we're doing here. We're also we're a Spigit customer. That's the view. Not bad. Get to work. It's kind of fun. So that's the view of our lower campus. The graduate campus is upstairs there, a little to the left. But that's, on a good day, that's what you get to look at when you're having class. It's a pretty cool deal. So I'm going to talk to you guys today. I'm going to try. There we go. About our Spigit platform. Our platform, as was mentioned earlier there, is called Graz Idea. So that's our little name we like to come up with. So it's Graz Idea, our benefactor, with Idea being the school. Okay, so Graz Idea, how that works. Crowdsourcing powered by Spigit. We make sure you throw it in there because I know Scott Raskin wants to hear that word. So we put that in there and we're good. Powered by Spigit. Crowdsourcing. So how this works is I'm going to tell you a little story about how we became a Spigit customer. Last year, this is Spigit Ignite 2017, right in this building. That's speaker going on. And that was my first experience with Spigit. So I was sitting right there, taking notes, thinking, I don't know what the heck's going on, but I'm excited, and we're going to make this work. I tried to figure out, how am I going to make this happen? So that's me literally brain on fire going, this sounds great, but I have no idea how to make this work. And I talked to some of you, and you said, oh, thank you. I feel the exact same way right now. Okay, so if you're brand new, it's your first time, maybe next year you'll be on stage. We'll see, right? Stranger things could happen. Okay, so basically, how this worked was I had just started with the school. I had been asked by a professor, come teach a class, great, I'm into it. I saw this happen with crowdsourcing, great, I want to do it. Got involved, go up to Spigit, okay, cool. The school only had the budget for 2 of my colleagues to come up. Okay, I said, but I want to go, I want to be at the party, right? And they said, well, there's only budget for 2 of you. I said, fine, I'll pay my own way. I'll buy my own plane ticket, I'll go myself. Okay, did that. Graciously enough, Scott was able to get me a ticket to the show here, so I didn't pay for that. But I paid my own way, that's fine. And so you got to think, okay, well, that's how it works. So now my colleagues stayed somewhere very nice, and I stayed somewhere not so nice. I was in the starless hotel, maybe, you know. So let me show you where my colleagues stayed. This is my colleagues' hotel, the Le Méridien, next door. Very nice. And you guys staying there, Le Méridien? Very nice, very fancy, good times, right? That's the room. Look how big that room is. That's a really nice room. You see where I'm going, right? That's a really nice room. Okay, my hotel. This was my hotel. On that bed, I'm 6'2". When I laid on the bed, my feet were off the edge. If I pushed my hands to the wall, my feet touched the other wall. That was my hotel room, and that's how it works. So now the point of that is, because it hopefully gets a laugh, but also saying leaders don't wait for something to be given to them. They just take charge. Leaders take the charge until they put in charge. That's what you got to do. So don't think about, oh, well, I get authority, I'll be able to make this work. So my topic today is about exactly that. Leadership is not authority, leadership is influence. Leadership is an action verb, it's not a noun. The noun leadership means, oh, our leadership, our CEO, or whatever else, that's fine. But leadership is more of a verb than it is of a noun. Leadership is action, not position. So we're going to talk about that today. So I decided I'm just going to lead the charge, because leaders lead the charge till they are in charge. Great. So I sat here, had my mind blown 2 days in a row, right at that table, and woke up, went back home, wrote a memo to the dean, and this is actually the memo I wrote to the dean. And I said, we have to do this. I took a bunch of pictures, so I put them in the memo too, I like little graphics and stuff. And I basically said to our dean, this is something we need to do. And here's why. And here's all the great people I met at Spigit, all the great companies doing stuff, and we want to be great too, right? And so here's what we're going to do. So I wrote the memo that Friday. So when you guys digest all this and go home tomorrow, wake up on Friday then and write the memo, right? Okay, Lenovo, we need to make this happen. This is what's going to happen. If Pepperdine can do it, then we can do it. So that's what's going to happen. That's what I did that Friday. And I looked at the day, I went, wow, that was that Friday. I wrote, okay, Cinco de Mayo, I wrote the deal. So just, you take charge. I wasn't given formal authority. I wasn't told this is my thing. I just took charge because I thought it was something that needed to get done. Okay, so leaders lead the charge till they are in charge. So now I'm in charge, right? Charge of Grazidia. You guys want that memo? I'll send it to you if you want. Just tell me. I'll email it to you. But it basically says, Scott Raskin's great, and let's buy the software. Okay, so after doing all that, leading the charge, we had some challenges we've done. We're launching one next Tuesday. It's going to be an alumni town hall, some great stuff we're doing. So I just took charge, and now I'm in charge. Guess where I'm staying this year? Guess what hotel I'm at this year? That's right. That's right. So that's how it happens. Okay, let's move forward. So what I want to talk to you about today are three things. And the basic premise is leadership is influence, not authority. So the three things are ATMs, gorillas. You see, I had you earlier. Now some of you are making that gorilla face, like, this guy's a professor where? What's happening? And I've got Scott Raskin in the back being the top left gorilla. You better pull this off, Herrera. I promise it's going to work. I promise it's going to work. And also the 6 styles of leadership. We're going to talk about that. And it is going to come together in the end. So I think I hopefully have your attention. I think I'm even clearing the couches in the back. So they're going to come want to check this out. Hey, I heard some laughs. So go see what that guy's talking about out there. So we're going to talk about that, the 6 styles of leadership. Because when people think authority, they think leadership means that authority. If I don't have authority, I can't lead. Authority is one of the 6 types, not the only type. And actually, it's the least effective. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, number 1, ATMs. With an ATM, we all know how those work. You can't take withdrawals until you first make deposits. That's simple, right? You ever tried the other way? Doesn't work, right? That's how it goes? Okay. Or as Napoleon Hill would say, you give before you get. The same thing with ATMs is true with human beings. If you want to make a withdrawal, you better have made a deposit. So when I first started doing this last year, I said, I'm going to start making deposits to everybody. Everybody, make deposits, make deposits. And the cool thing with human relationships is when you make deposits with human beings, they actually pay interest. You can withdraw more than you put in. ATMs, you put in 20, you get out 20. With human beings, you do a couple deposits, they pay withdrawals for a long time. What if you try to make a withdrawal without making a deposit? That happens. So actually, when I first started this program last year, I got so darn excited that I did one of those leadership styles I'll tell you about. That didn't work very well because I was not in charge yet. And so I tried to start making some withdrawals without making the deposits first, and that was me, that face, right? So I'm going to tell you the lessons learned. So unlike the other speakers saying how great everything is, I'm going to tell you all the mistakes I made. I think that relates better because we can relate to making mistakes, right? So that's me. So that's the first thing, ATMs. You make deposits, then you can make withdrawals, not the reverse. So keep that one in mind. Now let's talk about some monkeys here. Okay, gorillas. You're going, how's he going to make this one go? How's this going to happen? Okay, gorillas. We know what that movie is. Gorillas in the Mist. I'll tell you how it was made, though. That movie almost did not get made. Because how it went was, when they were putting it together, Peter Gruber, head of Mandalay Entertainment, they were trying to get this together. They had the screenplay, it was great, they're ready to go, true story, and they're sitting there in the room. Famous film videographers, sonographers, everybody in there, directors ready to go. They could not figure out how to make this movie because the script called for the gorillas to follow directions, act. They had to get the gorillas to act. And they thought, how are we going to do this? We can't do this. And the backup plan, if they couldn't make that happen, the backup plan was, we'll put dwarfs in a gorilla suit, and that usually never works on a sound stage, and that's not going to work. So they're going around and they're stumped. They're in this emergency meeting. We're going to have to cancel the project. What do we do? And then there was an intern, young intern, sitting in the corner, and in the pause, she looks up and says, well, why don't you have the gorillas write the script? They look at her and laugh and say, how'd she even get in here? What? Why don't you let the gorillas write the script? Okay, back to the real important people talking. And she sat there. And a few hours later, they find her in the hallway, and one of the executives said, I'm sorry. No, let me ask you a question. What did you mean when you said, why don't we let the gorillas write the script? And she said, well, I'm not famous like all you guys. I'm just an intern here. But my thought was, what if you sent a real good cinematographer out into the jungle with a ton of film, filmed the gorillas for a couple of weeks, came back, and wrote the story around that? Wow, that's a really good idea. And they did exactly that. They got an Academy Award nominated cinematographer, sent him out in the jungle for a few weeks, recorded a ton of film, brought it back, and such great footage, it virtually wrote the script for them. The film budgeted $40 million. It only cost $20 million to shoot. Nominated for 5 Academy Awards and won 2 Golden Globes. Because why don't you let the gorillas write the script? So the point of that is, she had no authority, but she had some influence. Yeah, she did. And that influence got you the final product there. So that's the gorilla tie-in. So it's influence versus authority. And today, the key to successful leadership today is influence, not authority. Ken Blanchard, 1-minute manager, other fun stuff. That's the key. You're not searching for authority. If you just want to be able to tell people what to do, well, yeah, you want authority. If you want to make impactful change and influence your company, you want influence. So decide what you want. If you were sitting here going, I saw this guy's bio, and I really want to know how to boss people around, you picked the wrong thing to listen to. But if you'd like to know how to make impact in your company, stay tuned. We're going to have some good stuff here. But that's what you're looking for, influence, not authority. Now you're going to, how is this one going to tie in? This is my pool. My pool turned green. If you can't tell, my pool turned green. We had a little issue with the pool guy. Pool guy's fired. Now my 16-year-old is not my pool guy. But in the meantime, about 3 weeks went by, the chlorine levels went to 0, and my pool turned green. I said, wow, okay, how am I going to fix this? Just so you know, the analogy is this pool is your organization. How am I going to fix this? This pool is green. The culture's green. Am I going to have authority? Turn blue, pool. I command you to turn blue. Okay, maybe the top layer might, but the bottom layer is not going to happen. It's not going to happen, right? Okay, how do you fix that? We'll get back to that later. But for now, we're going to move forward. This is Jack Clark. He's the head coach of UC Berkeley rugby team, 28-time national champion. A little bit of success. Very successful coach. And what he says about leadership is not what you'd think. Most sports teams have a captain. Oh, that's the leader, right? No, no. Leadership is an action, not position. What he says is, we define leadership as the ability to make those around you better and more productive. And by that definition, all of you can be leaders, not just the captain. And so in his program, every single person is expected to be a leader. Because what leadership is simply making those around you better and more productive. Can we all do that? Everyone can do that if you choose to. So everyone can choose to be a leader. And that's what he says. And that's why his program is so successful year after year after year. He's also been the Olympic coach, gold medal there, very successful coach. Simon Sinek, familiar with his work, author of Start With Why, Leaders Eat Last. He has the third most watched third most watched TED Talk of all time, millions and millions of views. That book, Leaders Eat Last, I use in my course. That's a textbook for my course. And the students love it. And what he says is an authority has the title, but a leader has the people. So what do you want? Do you want the title or you want the people? Well, which one gets paid more? You can pick. But if you really want to make an impact, title is nothing. Title is nothing. You can be an authority, but they would not follow you. So an authority has a title, but a leader has the people. And I got a quick little video. It's about 45 seconds. It's actually from Simon's book launch at Barnes & Noble for this book, Leaders Eat Last, where he tells his opinion on what leadership really is. So I need to click for that one, or it just goes. There we go.
It's about the environment. And leaders set the tone. And by the way, leadership has nothing to do with rank either. You can be at the head of the organization and not be a leader. And you can be at the bottom of the organization and absolutely be a leader. Leadership is a choice. And it is the choice to look after the person to the left of you and the person to the right of you. That's all it is. It's the commitment to put others before yourself. That's all it is. And when it matters, being willing to give up the perks you're afforded as a leader so that others may prevail.
That's it. Leadership is a choice. It's not a rank. So don't confuse the words. What do you really want to achieve? I want to be a leader. Okay, go do it. But I'm not in charge yet. It doesn't matter. Leadership is not being in charge. Leadership is what you do. It's a verb. It's not a noun. All right, let's get started. Leadership myth. I must be in charge in order to lead, right? Everyone thinks that. I teach this stuff, and I still thought it, right? If I'm not in charge, I can't lead. That is wrong. That's not how leadership works. What should it be? Leadership reality is real leaders find a way to lead the charge until they are in charge. There's actually this great book I just read, the same title as my talk. How to Lead When You're Not in Charge. Great book. The first third of it is completely applicable to everything you're doing. The next 2/3 is actually a pastor of a church. It kind of gets a little churchy in there. Read the first part. You might like the rest, but the first part, fabulous stuff. It was a youth pastor very frustrated that his stuff was not being put forward. And he said, well, when I'm finally the head pastor, then I'll be able to do stuff. Well, it's kind of the reverse. When you were doing stuff, now he became the head pastor. So you lead the charge until you are in charge. That was from his book. Great book. So the order is Grant Plaza Hotel, then you do some leadership stuff, then you get the lay meridian. That's the order of how things are supposed to work. That's what you want to do. Okay, so the meat of the stuff. The 6 leadership styles. Here's the important stuff we're going to talk about. There's you. There's a style. I get asked all the time, what's the best leadership style? Okay, for you golfers out there, what's the best golf club? It depends on the need, right? If you're on the green, I need a putter. If you're driving, I need a driver. So saying what's the best leadership style, it depends on what situation you're in. You need to use them all. So you don't pick, well, that's the one I'm going to use. No. You need a whole golf club full of different options there. So this is actually from Daniel Goleman, Harvard Business Review article from 2000. Famous article, actually listed as one of Harvard Business Review's top 10 must-reads on leadership. Great information. Read it over and over again. It probably takes about an hour to read. It's great stuff, though. So let's hop into that. I'm going to go through each one of them, one at a time. The first one, commanding. That's what you think leadership is, authority. Leadership's authority. Okay, well, how to lead when you're not in charge. If I'm not in charge, can I use a style that requires authority? No, probably not going to be working out well for you. If you're not in charge, they tell you, come do this. You're not in charge. Get out of here. Okay, that's not going to work. CEO says so. Yeah, fine. They can coerce you. And actually, even when you are in charge, that's the least effective leadership method style right there. You don't want to use that one. Even if you are a CEO, don't use that one. The next one, pace setting. Here's where my mistakes happen again. I got so excited last year at Ignite, I went back and tried to use this method. Now, pace setting is you go out there and you just run out and you say, everyone keep up, all this great stuff I'm going to do. Everybody keep up with me. If you're not the leader, no one's following you. You want a good example of that? You ever seen this movie? You ever seen Old School? You know what scene I'm probably going to talk about right now? Okay, who's in charge in that script? Was it Will Ferrell? No, he's not in charge, right? Luke Wilson's character? Yeah, maybe. Vince Vaughn's character? Probably. Yeah, who was in charge in that movie, right? Okay, so there's this scene where Will Ferrell's character, Frank, he starts doing some pace setting. Everybody follow me. We're going streaking, right? That's Will Ferrell's thing. And his wife pulls up and looks over and says, what are you doing? We're streaking. And she looks in the rearview mirror and goes, there's nobody there. Who's streaking? Get in the car, Frank. Right? Okay, get in the car. So Frank was so excited, but not realizing he had no authority, he tried to get everybody to follow him, and nobody followed him. So he's streaking by himself. Funny movie. So that's not going to work either. So I found out the hard way. I wasn't streaking, but I was just trying to really get excited, and it didn't work well. So now I've learned. And it's funny, even though you know it, you still do the wrong stuff. So just learn from my mistake and don't do it too. Let's talk about what does work. What does work? Visionary. That's the come with me. So instead of saying follow me, that's getting together. Here's a vision I have. Let's do it together. Come with me. Let's go. Our dean is exactly like that. Derek Van Rensburg, great leader, and he's actually a visionary type leader. That's very effective and good on culture. Next one, affiliative. That's people come first. This is healing when there's stress, if there's layoffs, something else. This is people come first above tasks and processes. If any baseball fans, Joe Torre, great example of that, where people come first. The only issue with this one is you don't really talk about bad things, so misbehavior, things don't really get addressed. But it's great for building relationships, consensus. It's a great style there. So that can be in your golf club you're going to be using in leadership. Democratic, creating a consensus of what do you think, everyone's opinion, great, 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 okay. Everyone likes that, let's go together. People will handle that. You can not be in charge and that still be effective. They're good on that. Last one, coaching. Kind of like my thing, I like that one. That's making others better. Not that I'm better than you, but I can help you become better. Like, why do NBA players allow a coach to tell them what to do? Michael Jordan was much better than Phil Jackson as a player, but Michael Jordan felt that Phil Jackson could help him become a better player than he currently was, so that he listened to them. So you don't have to be better than someone else, but if they think your coaching will make them better, they're cool. You can use that without formal authority. So those 4 can work very well without being in charge. So that's the 4 effective leadership styles. Little summary there on those. Visionary, enthusiasm, clear vision, set the tone. People want to follow that. Democratic, you build buy-in. People support what they help build. When we started this, I had a few other colleagues there, and they helped design the initial, our Grazidia, Spigit launch site, how it worked, the questions, and now they're bought in. They're now sponsors of other ones because they are bought into our start. Great. Affiliate, people come first. Helps during stress. Get everyone, what do you need, what do you need? So now when I go talk to people, it's not this is what we should do. I think, well, what do you need? Oh, well, here's how Grazia can benefit your personal agenda. Okay, people are bought in with that, great. And then coaching, help people improve long-term, develop their long-term strengths. People love that kind of stuff. So you can not be in charge, an authority, and still do these things very effectively. That's what you want to do. So it's the takeaways. ATMs, monkeys, and stuff, right? So the ATMs, make relationship deposits before making withdrawals. That's what you got to do. The key to successful leadership is influence, not authority. Okay, we can agree on that one. And the 4 most effective leadership styles do not require formal authority. So everyone in this room, CIO down, doesn't matter. You can be a leader. You can do the 4 methods I spoke of and have much success. You don't need to wait to be given authority. Just go do it. And next year you can be the lay meridian, right? Make that work. Okay, they're going to start pulling me off the stage here pretty quick. I'm going to tell my pool. Let's fix this problem. There's my green pool. It's going to wrap this up. My green pool, how do you fix that? I could command it to turn blue, and the top layer might follow my directions. I'm a magician, so no, but think of your organization. A command from the top. Well, the first layer might, but then the bottom's not going to change. What is the change? You already know the answer. How do you guys get your pool to turn blue? What's different in the 2 pictures now? There's something there. There's something there in the next picture. There's that chlorine floater, right? Disseminating its methods throughout the organization. You all are chlorine floaters. You need to go through your pools and don't try to force them to follow you. Just disseminate stuff. Float around. And 3 weeks later, I've got a blue pool, right? So you want your organization to go from green to blue. You need to be the chlorine floaters. Go out there and change your organization. Create the innovation by being the influence, not the authority. You don't tell them to change, but you become the change you want to see, and you move forward. And that's how you get the organization to become innovative, follow, and not fight you on it. Be that chlorine floater. You like that? I like that one. It's funny, my pool was not green by the time I had to do the dry run through this. I had to take a picture last Friday. I said, please turn blue by then. I need it for the presentation. So it worked out. It was great. It's great. So it all worked out. So that's what I had to talk to you guys about today. The leadership styles that work, how you make an influence, and how you can have success, and next year come on stage and do better than me and not mess up, right? That's fun stuff. So with that, that's all I have for you. Is that good? You like class today? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Shawn. We have time for questions?
If they'll let us, yeah, right?
What's that?
If they'll let us, we'll see.
Oh, no. I think your class registration is going to go way up after this.
Hopefully, yeah, we'll see.
All right, who's got something for Shawn?
I usually have students that are some international or else they won't talk, so I come down and I get in their face and they start, okay, I'll talk. Throw that box
Anybody?
somewhere.
Maggie? Oh, over here.
I really enjoyed that. So,
Thanks.
What if you're in a big organization and you have to ask for approvals even after you got the influence from your peers and your team?
For money, you're saying, right?
Not necessarily. Maybe the green light for something. I don't know.
Well, if they bought this software, that's the green light there. They paid for it. They spent some money on it. And our CFO, which is Assistant Dean of Finance, I said to him, I said, Chris, I've never been given formal authority. I mean, and this is months ago. I said, unless you want to say go forth and prosper, what do you want me to do? He said, oh, go forth and prosper. I said, okay, but I had to show myself first. So we had to have some minimal level of success. If they bought the software, they're expecting something. You're not going to do changes now. They're going to want approval of implementing an idea. I agree with that. But if they bought the software, they've given you approval to go do challenges. Go do something. Make it happen. Go do it. You can't go crazy and spend $1 million, I imagine. But they've already told you to go do this, correct? So go do it. And then the success you have will then give authority for more things to happen, which is kind of cool. So you got to build as you go. You're not going to change the entire pool on day one. I dropped that thing in there, and it took about 3 weeks. So it's a process over time to get that effect to go. Be that floater.
Back in the corner, way back here.
Edwin, and my question to you is, who are your audiences and what benefits have you seen so far from the challenges you've run?
Our first audience was faculty, staff, and some students we put in there. So in terms of audience for everything we do, we have students, obviously. Our faculty and staff would be the employee base. We have alumni, which are former customers, if you would, and then we have the general population, businesses, public, whatever else. Our first challenge focused on faculty and staff, basically saying, how can we better onboard students? How can we do better at what we do? And we let it go. And we just had ideas pouring like crazy, like, wow, people had some pent-up demand. They wanted to talk, but nobody's talking yet. So we put it out there, started talking. Ideas kept coming in. And out of that, we had, I think it was like 7 ideas. We're like, yeah, that worked. The leadership team said, yeah, we want those ideas. And we put them all in. Great. Now we're on the next thing. The next one's going to launch next week. It's an alumni town hall. Want alumni's ideas. Great. Another we're going to do is with AI. Our dean wants to know, in a world of AI, what is a business school's role for you? We're basically going to say to students, what should we be teaching you? What do you want to learn? In a world of AI, where half the jobs are going to be gone in 30 years, what should we be teaching you? Tell us, and we'll adapt. That's pretty cool. Need Spigit for that. And that's our latest things we're doing. We're also going to have one with our Professor Emeritus, Mark Mallinger. He's going to be running a faculty improvement, basically, project. So it's going to be an always-on where they're all going to start sharing best practices. This is a great, I learned in class. I did this. Oh, let's share with each other. Because we have 5 campuses all over. Professors don't talk to each other. This is going to let them talk to each other remotely, whether you're in Orange County, San Jose, Malibu, West LA. We can share best practice and get better. So that's an exciting thing we're going to be doing with Spigit now. So there's lots of fun stuff where you start harnessing that innovation. Because I said when I got back to our dean, there's so many smart people here. Why are we not sharing ideas, right? Well, faculty, professors, let's start talking to each other. So this is what Spigit is allowing us to do at Pepperdine.
Thank you.
If any of you guys want these slides at all,
Okay, here we go.
I have no problem.
Lena?
Email me. I'll send you the slides.
Hi, Shawn.
Hello.
So you work with a lot of different companies in your job at Pepperdine, and I'm curious to hear what are some of the most common leadership styles that you see with the other companies that you work with and some of the leaders that you work with on a day-to-day basis.
Would you like to know the most effective ones I see or the ineffective ones I see? The ones that hide behind command style leadership are the most ineffective, because people will do it because they are complying, but they do not want to follow that person, him or her. But they have to because their job depends on it. And that's not going to create a culture of innovation. It's not going to create you having success. It's going to create compliance. I don't want compliance. I want people who want to jump on board and help. And that's not going to work. So when I see that, I kind of go, well, they're probably not going to be our customers. So let's move on to the next company. But those, when there's visionary leaders, that's the sweet spot. That's great. Because what they're doing is saying, here's this vision of our future. Here's what it's going to take to get there. Let's go. Those have the most success when I see companies or organizations. So if you can find an organization or your leader becomes that, or you are the leader, you become that. Those visionary leaders have the most success. Not the only thing they do, but that's when their main tag is the visionary type, building an image and getting everybody to go along. That's just fabulous. So that's not the best club, but it's a very common one, which you need to have.
Okay, one last question.
Or a joke, you know, whatever you use.
Over here. Oh,
Hi.
sorry. Go ahead.
Hi.
You're good.
We've talked a lot the past couple days regarding the frozen middle and some of the issues we see sometimes getting ideas from the bottom up to the top, even though we have visionary leaders. I was curious if you could speak at all to enabling, if we are in some of these areas where we have the visionary leaders, how can we help, I guess, push someone, or maybe that frozen middle, help to melt the ice a little bit and adapt and teach some of these leadership styles outside of just formal curriculum.
Right, because now sorry,
just in the workplace that they're already engaging in.
Yeah, and hopefully some of the stuff I went over, it can help you with that. And again, I'll send you the slides if you want to email me there. But what you want to do is be that example. If you are currently in the middle, you are that chlorine floater making an impact, or others start following you. So you don't try to say, everyone do what I want. It's not going to happen. But they go, wow, look what he's doing. I could do that. And you start creating a momentum, and you're unfreezing the middle by leading by example. Because you can be a leader. The ability to make those around you better and more productive. I can do that. Leadership is not authority. Leadership is action. I can do that. This stuff you can do, you're thawing it out by you. You're taking the lead. Because unless you're going to bring your entire organization here next year, which Scott would like, and bring them all here and have 1,000 people at Ignite, they're not going to be as excited as you. But you can take this back home, and you can lead by example and make them excited. Be contagious, right? That chlorine floater doesn't just chlorinate here, it kind of goes around. Now the next thing, right? That's what you got to do. If you start doing that, you're like the evangelist. Eventually it'll start to unfreeze, and it kind of snowballs and just goes. And that's what I've spent the last year myself, is trying to unfreeze that middle, and it's been taking a lot of personal relationships and what's in it for them. Hey, I know you're doing this. This would really help out with that. Oh, that would help me? Yeah. And now that I want to do it. So instead of this big picture, can do this for me, what can I do for you? People love that, right? And that's what I would suggest. And it takes a while. It's not instant, but over time it'll work. And you have a blue pool.
Unfortunately, I have to cut it off. I know we had another question back here, Shawn, so perhaps during the break you can indulge that question.
I'll be around. I do birthday parties. No, I'm just
Thank you. Another round of applause for Shawn. It was really much.